One, two. Will, this is Chris at Fox 5 in DC. Can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm just going to turn the volume up just a little bit if you can give me a count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Holy shit, this is amazing. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Whenever you're ready, we can dive right in.
Yeah, man, let's go.
All right, so this is going to air in the evening, just a heads up, but I actually want to rewind back to your morning routine. I was on your Instagram page. Bedhead and mug seems to be a theme. So my question for you is, what was today's mug? What is the secret to having such perfect bedhead? And how many mugs do you actually have in your house?
I have 3 cabinets full of mugs. And they rotate through, so we never get too bored. This morning's mug said, "You are doing an effing great job." It's one of my favorites. I have another one that says "F the patriarchy" that I really love.
I saw that one.
I got another one that has a fierce-looking possum on it that says "Eat trash, hail Satan."
Okay.
Those are some of my absolute favorites. I think they're pretty silly. This all started years ago. During the pandemic, I woke up one morning and I was like, yo, your bedhead is crazy. We should memorialize that. So I just took a picture of it because I thought it was silly. And then it just became this thing that I could do day after day. And it was really fun. I didn't think that I was branding myself as the guy with the coffee mug and the bedhead, but it's kind of happened that way. And I'll tell you, my secret is I sleep rough. Man.
Okay.
I accommodate a dog, and I'm in my 50s, so I get up a lot overnight.
Understood. Well, Marlo.
and it gets styled. Yeah.
Understood. I'm coming at it from a place of jealousy. Do you continue to add to the mug collection just out of curiosity, or have you reached your limit?
Yeah, if I see something that's really great, I really love to pick them up from places we visit. My wife and I are at that point in our lives where we really enjoy to travel, and I love a mug from a place. We went up to Utah a couple of years ago, and we went through the national parks that are up there, and my tattoo artist and her wife live in Moab, so we had gone up there to see them, and I bought a mug in a coffee shop there that was made from stone that had been sort of dug up out of the ground in that part of the world, but it kind of looked like the planet Jupiter.
Okay.
It was really, really beautiful. I love to grab things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, hashtag brands are always coming at me like, let's do a mug thing together. And I'm like, you guys, this is a cool thing for me. Let's not make it gross.
Understood. If you don't mind me asking, just kind of piggybacking off of that, what was the tattoo that you were getting?
So she's done everything for me. So this is an octopus.
Okay.
And the last time I saw her, we were finishing up this cuttlefish. Can you see that there?
Yes, I can.
And we had done a big day. We had done this whole nautilus. How can I get that on camera? Yeah, we'd done this whole nautilus, and my body just ran out of endorphins as she was doing the outline of my cuttlefish. And I was like, dude, I got to stop. This is too much. But I'll come back in a week and we'll finish it all up. That was the beginning of January in 2020. And then we were all locked down. And I've been waiting ever since to go back and get it finished. We just talked a couple of days ago. My wife and I are planning another road trip to that part of the country because it's so beautiful. And we're going to go get finished up. And eventually this will be a full sleeve.
Oh, very nice.
It would be by now if she still lived here.
That makes sense, and I'll be honest with you. I got my most recent one not too long ago, right over here. Yeah. The older I've gotten, the weaker I have gotten. Speaking of those endorphins, they don't last as long as they did when I was a younger guy. But I'll be honest with you, I got this one right here as well, and I
that's so cool.
Thought it was going to be so much more painful. Ended up being the loudest but the least painful tattoo I've ever gotten.
Yeah, my understanding is that everyone's nerves are different, and how painful it's going to be is entirely dependent on where the nerves end. So this was supposed to be really painful for me, and it was nothing. Didn't notice it at all. And I've got other tattoos that were wow, that was a lot.
Well, thank you for indulging me on mugs, tattoos, bedhead, and everything. But speaking of rewinding, let's go back 40 years, 1986, because we are celebrating 40 years of the iconic classic coming-of-age movie, Stand By Me. When you were a teenager on that set, alongside River Phoenix, Jerry O'Connell, Corey Feldman, and more, did you ever imagine that this would still be such a crucial part, a huge part of your life?
I had no idea. I knew we were making something special. I knew we were making something beautiful. We were making good art. We were telling a story that mattered, and our performances were honest and very, very real. I knew that. I had no idea that it was going to fundamentally change the direction of my life. I had no idea that it was going to be a movie that would matter to multiple generations. I could never have predicted that I would be an old man still talking about it.
The youngest old man I've ever seen, for the record. So how has your relationship with the movie and your co-stars kind of evolved over the last 4 decades?
My relationship with Stand By Me follows the relationship that I think a lot of people have with it who have been around since it was originally released. As we have gotten older and our experience and perspective has changed, new layers of the movie become visible to us. What was a movie when we were kids about an adventure and about friendship, as you're an adult, becomes a movie about family. And it becomes about that moment where Chris says kids lose everything unless someone is there to look out for them. And then we get a little bit older and it goes back to kind of being about those beautiful relationships we have where we are choosing to be kind. We're choosing to go out and make friends. And then we get into high school, and now there's social capital in high school. And now there are cliques in high school. And that's where you see people who were such good friends when they were younger start to split up because somebody decides they want to be popular or they want to get into that clique. There is just this moment at the end of the movie where they're all kind of starting to sort of split up. And it always just sort of squeezes on my heart, you know? Remembering when those things happened to me. The themes of this movie are so universal. Rob Reiner tells a wonderful story about meeting someone who said, "Man, you made a movie about me and my friends." And Rob was like, "Oh, did you grow up in the woods?" And the guy was like, "No, I grew up in the Bronx." And he says, it's not about the woods, it's about the friendship. And that is what I always come back to. At the end of last year, Jerry and Corey and I did a little tour, and we did some shows with Stand By Me Live. In preparation for this year, we kind of wanted to make our mistakes early, right? Okay. So we could learn from them and bring a great show out this year. Turns out there were not a lot of mistakes to be made, other than choosing to go to New England in the middle of winter was not the greatest. You know, I would not do that again. But we spent 3 days on a tour bus together, catching up over 40 years, right? And all of us re-experiencing our own memories through the lens of the other people who were there for the first time for all 3 of us. It was really special. And we sat in the theater, we sat in the back of the house in the dark and watched the movie with the audience. God, that was incredible. And then just, we had a couple of these moments of like, hey man, I remember this. Do you remember it this way? And then talking about that stuff, and just, it was really special. Like I said, this movie has given me just so many gifts. And it's crazy to me that 40 years later, there was another one that I didn't even know was waiting for me to unwrap.
So you talked about watching the movie from the back of the house and getting to experience other people watching it. And you already mentioned not only the people who grew up with the movie, but the new generations as well. What is that kind of like for you?
I'm really lucky that the work I have done as an actor, I've been in 3 things that like really matter to people, and they make a difference in people's lives. Stand By Me, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and The Big Bang Theory. And it is, I cannot tell you how enormous my heart swells when I meet someone and they tell me, man, your movie was a thing that I did with my best friend. We watched it over and over again. Or I would watch this movie with my parents, or I watched Star Trek with my dad, and it was the only thing we had in common. And I hear stories like that from people all the time. I'm just really grateful, as an artist, as a creator, you just hope your work matters. You just hope that the work you're putting into the world, just hope that it lands on somebody and it inspires them or it comforts them or it challenges them. I am so, so lucky to have that in my life, and that people still come up to me all over the place to tell me how it is important to them and what specifically it means to them. And then we have this moment. There's no way it's 40 years, right?
Right.
Like
No way.
that's a stupid story somebody told. Like we are definitely not. We are not old enough for that.
Yeah, not at all. Listen, you mentioned some of the themes of the movie, and one of the themes of the movie is obviously loss as well. Not only the loss of innocence, but also the loss of friendship and the loss of other human beings. You guys obviously have experienced tragedy with the passing of River Phoenix, and I know you pay tribute to him as well, but I do have to ask you about the passing of Rob Reiner late last year.
Sure.
And I know you shared your thoughts in a very emotional and heartfelt post on your website, and I encourage all of our viewers to go out there and read it. But I was wondering if you could share just some memories with me and some of what he meant to you as well.
I grew up in a family where I was the scapegoat. My dad never made an effort to get to know me, never tried to do anything with me, was a bully to me. I was really lonely in my home. I felt like Gordy, right? And Gordy's like, I'm no good. My dad hates me. It should have been me. That's really who I was. I mean, I really felt all of those things all the time. Rob Reiner was the very first male adult ever in my life who treated me with any degree of respect, who treated me with any degree of compassion and empathy and gentle nurturing. He was more of a father to me in the 60 days we did Stand By Me than my dad was, until at 46 years old, I was like, look, man, you don't love me, and I'm tired of trying to make you love me. I just can't do this anymore. Our careers were busy, right? We were doing lots of things, and our paths didn't cross that often. I think that we only saw each other 4 times, maybe 5 times in 40 years. And I always wanted to ask him so many questions that I had about things that I remember and things that people have talked to me about. But I just never brought it up because I didn't want to disrupt the moment of just getting to sort of bask in Rob's warmth and love. I always felt so safe and calm around him. When the 3 of us got together last year, we spent these 3 days kind of being in 1985 again, kind of being with Rob Reiner from 1985 again. And then we came home, and then he was killed. And it's such a terrible loss for so many reasons, for so many people. And one of the huge losses for me is now I'll never get to ask him those questions. And I thought that I would. I really thought that we would get together this year. I thought for sure. It's 40 years. It's 40 years of a movie that audiences love. Of course we're going to do something. I mean, and we're still doing things. And we will be paying tribute to River as we always do. And we will be paying tribute to Rob now. And, it is... It's a responsibility. It's a terrible privilege, right? It's a terrible privilege to be able to go to an audience that loves his movie. We haven't figured out what we're going to do yet, but we're going to do something that just acknowledges what a special man he was and what a great artist he was, and just how important his contributions were to the world.
Yeah, absolutely beloved, not only in Hollywood, but beyond as well. And, Wil, honestly, it's thank you for sharing that. But also, it's easy to see not only the impact he's had on you, but the impact that you have on other people as a result. Obviously, you are such a kind person, and you really share that message of kindness it's visible just in the flags hanging in your room behind you. So thank you for that. And like Rob, you're also a storyteller at heart, not only the ones you write, but also the ones that you read and record. So can you talk to us a little bit about what else you're working on now?
I would love to. Thank you for asking. I have been a reader my entire life. And though I did not ever want to be an actor, and I couldn't wait to like not be an actor when I didn't have to, I picked up skills over my life, and I use those skills to narrate audiobooks. So I get to perform, and I get to tell stories, and I get to read books for my job. And I have loved this. I've had the privilege of narrating Ready Player One, which was a New York Times #1 bestseller, and last time we checked was the best-selling audiobook of all time.
Not too shabby.
My own memoir, Still Just a Geek, was on the New York Times bestseller list. And I have met lots of people over the years who have said to me, man, you're one of my favorite audiobook narrators. Like, I'll listen to anything you narrate. And last year I had this idea. What if I narrated these beautiful, amazing authors that are beloved in the genre space, but aren't really known kind of out in like kind of mainstream culture, which I cross into a little bit because of my work on the Big Bang Theory, right? So like, what if I narrated their works, elevated their profile, and I got to pick up where LeVar Burton left off when he finished doing LeVar Burton Reads? All of that came together, and I have a podcast called It's Story Time with Wil Wheaton. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and it is always something from speculative fiction, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, weird fiction, and I love it. It's such a privilege to do this job. If anyone is interested in that, just go to wilwheaton.net/podcast. And you can find out everything that you would ever want to know about it. Thank you so much for asking.
No,
I'm
thank
so
you.
proud of it, and it's so fun to do. And I know that the only way I get to keep doing it is if I talk about it. But I feel weird and self-conscious going like, I'm really great at this thing.
Well,
but anyway, thank you. I appreciate that.
I love that you and LeVar Burton also, in addition to the Star Trek connection, you guys also are sharing this love of reading and also using your platforms to really elevate undiscovered talent out there as well. Thank you. So this has been a real honor. I grew up a fan of The Next Generation, so I've been a fan of yours since I was a kid. So thank you so much for spending some time with us. I do have one favor. Obviously, I have to mention you guys will be right here in the DMV at the Strathmore here in Bethesda in March. So you can go to the Strathmore's website, get your tickets, all the information for that. But I have a favor to ask and a slight bone to pick. Jerry O'Connell has been a longtime friend to Fox 5 here from his work with Pictionary and beyond. He's been in studio multiple times. We've gone and gotten breakfast. He has ridden the Metro with me. He has taken over my hot seat as a producer. And I've been so he owes us a visit when you guys are in town, okay? But I also want you to tell him that we had way more fun talking to you, okay? So just let him know you talked to the team over at Fox 5 DC and they like you more than him.
I will. I'll tell him that he has to come reclaim his title.
That's right. Exactly. Wil Wheaton, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Congratulations on 40 years of Stand By Me. Good luck with the tour.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wil.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. Take care. And if you ever want to talk to me about anything else, feel free to reach out.
All right. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.